Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Saturday, September 14th, 2019. Taking a look at our solar wind speeds, they're sitting at a 452.9 kilometers per second with a density of 4.2. Our sun is blank once again. We have now 11 days in a row without sunspots. A total of 180 days without sunspots in 2019, and we're only at September 14th. So we still have plenty of 2019 left. How far, or how many days I should say, are we going to go without sunspots? That's the question. TCI is unchanged at 4.02 with a KP of a 2, and our 24-hour max is also at a 2. And let's take a look at the SDO in motion. We do have a coronal hole in the southern region that should graze Earth's magnetic field sometime around the 16th, 17th of September. We're not expecting anything major or anything like that, just some brief increased solar wind speeds at that. All right, let's give you guys a quick, whoa, not that one. Let's give you guys a quick update real quick on our storm that we're going to be dealing with here in the near future. And Tropical Storm Humberto is just that, a tropical storm at the time. We were wondering if we were going to see a hurricane form out of this, like a Cat 1 of some sort. And thus far, we're not seeing that. So I just wanted to give you a quick update real quick of what we're dealing with and what we look like so far. Let's take a look. Here over at Mike's weather page. So let's take a look at the first thing is the track. And we are still looking at a track that it's going further west, or I'm sorry, east. So this storm is right at the heels of the Bahamas right now, but currently the stats are 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving northwest at 7 miles per hour with a pressure of about 1,004. So this is just a tropical storm. It will develop into a hurricane, but as you guys can see, that hurricane will be well away from our coast right here. This is where they expect it to be a Cat 1. Once it gets there, it's going to accelerate off the sea. So that's good news about Tropical Storm Humberto. We can go back and look real quick here. There is still tropical storm warnings, and now I think they've shifted it more to a watch than a warning in most of these areas. Yeah, so no hurricane warnings, tropical storm conditions, but nothing to speak of as far as anything like we saw with Dorian. So that's another bit of good news. And I wanted to show you real quick too, because we have several interest here happening in the Atlantic, and this is going to be something to watch. Last night, and I want to point this out too, Mari and I were just looking at the radar randomly, and this area has come up as a new concern right here. There is a system, and it's very big so far, but it's just a low. It's nothing cyclonic or anything. This is just giving it a 20% chance or less. One system, two systems, three systems that are also in the pipeline here. But when I show you guys the GFS, it's kind of kooky. All these storms are not going to come near the United States, and basically they're going to spin off to the middle of the Atlantic. And I wanted to take you guys in, give you a look at the current radar right now of this low pressure system in the Gulf, just so you guys have an idea what's happening here. Let's move this up. There we go. So there's our current storm, Tropical Storm Humberto. And you see this development of showers in the Gulf of Mexico. New Orleans, you're now being affected by this, but this storm is supposed to head west. So Houston, Corpus Christi, possibly even San Antonio and Austin. You guys could see some significant amount of rain if this system gets its act together. Question is, what's the water temperatures? What are we looking at with that? Is it going to be warm enough? Usually the Gulf is pretty warm to sustain storms. However, we are cooling off, folks. This is getting to the point where we are in the latter stages of September. We're heading towards the fall month. So the Gulf, compared to what it was 2 weeks ago, definitely cooling off. And that's a good thing too, because that's going to make this storm, whatever chance it has to develop into something bad, without the energy of the heat, it's just not going to happen. So hopefully this trend continues, and we will continue to see warmer or cooler waters develop in the Gulf of Mexico. And hopefully one of these storms will just dissipate just because of the temperatures of the water, what time of year we're heading into. So nothing too powerful to look at this point. NOAA or anyone is not concerned about a possible hurricane just all of a sudden developing at the snap of a finger. So again, good news. Let's take a look at our GFS forecast for these storms. You'll see the tropical storm Humberto moving towards Florida, does not make landfall. Plenty of rain with this, but it's all off the coast. Maybe a little bit of rain showers for Jacksonville and southern Georgia, but this storm is going to curve out into the Atlantic and pose no threat to the United States at this time. This is according to the 06 model here. 18 is not out yet. And as we move forward, I'll see other storms coming up. If you look to your far right to the screen, you can see it on the edge. That thing's just going straight up into the Atlantic towards Canada. So with all the storms and the action that we have in the sea right now, the Atlantic Ocean, the one concern I might have, but again, this is for September 30th, guys. The water is going to be cooler. This area right here looks like there's some kind of low pressure trying to come up into the Gulf of Mexico. That was probably one of the storms that we were showing you that had a chance of development over the next several days. Again, if the water temperatures continue to cool, there's a good chance that we won't see any more strong hurricanes. We might get some tropical rains, but other than that, right now, the forecast for hurricanes, I feel pretty good about as far as what kind of danger we could be facing in the near future. Now, I'm only showing this model because this will help us see our storms a little bit better. I know yesterday this was kind of glitchy. So, storm 1, there's another one coming off of Africa. Again, it gets drug out by this high pressure system in the middle Atlantic. So really, guys, this is peak time for hurricanes. There's a lot of low pressure systems out there, but they're just not holding it together. And at this point, that's a good news. We were showing you guys model runs of a storm that could be running up into New Jersey and New York. Anything can change. It's only the 14th. The 27th is still 13 days away. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on these tropical storms here. But right now, they don't pose a major threat to any U.S. territories or anything like that. The Bahamas will probably experience some rainfall from this, as if they need any more. But other than that, they're not going to see anything as intense as they saw with Dorian. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us this morning for our solar update. Be sure to check out, if you're a Patreon member, and if you're not, look, it only takes $1 to join Patreon, and you will have access to the call-in shows that we're going to be starting on Saturday. Tonight at 8 p.m. It's going to be our first call-in show with special guests, and we're just going to sit here and talk about what we're going to do about the grand solar minimum. How are we going to prep for this? What are we planning to do? What are you planning to do? The best. We want to hear from you, the listeners, on what your guys' plans are for prepping and how to adapt during a grand solar minimum. Again, all it takes $1, guys. Join Patreon for $1 a month, and you guys will have access to these call-in shows. So, also other privileged shows that we will be giving in the future as well. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Until later tonight, we will talk soon, guys. Take care.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.